All right, moving right along, and just one more time. So just my note page, and this is not a teacher's manual by any means. This is just where I store my notes. It just closes. That's all that we have. So next section up is the mat. So Michelle is going to be my Vanna White once again. Thank you very much. So you can lay in either direction because essentially it doesn't matter at this point. So we're going to be laying in our supine position. So back is down, I lied. We're going to be sitting up. Woo! Day's getting long already. We're not even halfway there. So legs are going to be extended out in front of us. Heels are on, toes are up to the ceiling, so we're dorsiflexed. You're going to have your feet wide, so wider than hip distance, but not as wide as the mat or as this extension. You're going to be sitting up nice and straight. So you want your back nice and straight. You want your pelvis in neutral, just like it is. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, so you always want to maintain control of those shoulder scapula. So we're going to reach those arms out in front of us. Palms can be facing each other. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to do a forward fold. So you're going to flex the hips. You're going to bring the torso towards your toes. You're going to hold it there, really feeling the stretch in that thoracic spine. Then you're going to come back up to neutral as you inhale. Restack your spine, and then we're going to go again. As you exhale, you're going to reach those hands towards that bar in front of you as the thoracic spine expands, feeling that nice stretch in that back. Stacking the spine, coming back up to neutral. We got one more. As you exhale, you're going to hinge from those hips, flexing at that hip joint. Try to keep your pelvis in neutral, coming back up, stacking that spine, head comes back up, last, and you can go ahead and lower those hands. Good job, getting you nice and awake. Now we're going to go into our supine. We're going to go ahead and lay down on the mat. Your knees are going to be bent, soles of the feet are going to be on, I keep saying the reformer, but it's technically on the mat. So we're going to do some bridging. So for bridging, the closer those heels are to your glutes, the easier the bridge is going to be. So I usually like to have them pretty close because I'm pretty lazy. So arms are down by your side, hands nice stretched out. Either have the palms pressing into the mat or pinkies on the mat, thumbs up to the ceiling, whichever feels better for your shoulder position. We are going to keep that core engaged. So again, activate the core by either sucking in the abdominals or elongating through the spine to activate the core. You're going to try to keep the pelvis in neutral. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to stay in a flat back. You're going to lift those hips up towards the ceiling. Beautiful line. One line between the knee, the hips, and the shoulders. Lowering back down. We're going to do it 2 more times. As you inhale, get ready. As you exhale, pushing the hips up, not coming up too high into the shoulders. You don't want any pressure on the neck. Go ahead and lower back down. We have one more. As you exhale, lift the hips up, squeezing the glute, and lowering back down. Nice and in control. Good job. So there's plenty of variations for the bridging. You can do single leg bridge. You can have your feet in a Pilates V. You can be up on your toes as you bridge. There's a bunch of different variations. We won't obviously do them all today. So the next thing that we're going to do, you're going to keep the legs just like they are. So they're beautifully flexed at the knee and at the hip. Soles of the feet are down on the mat. This time you're going to flex the elbows. So bend the elbows, and you're going to bring your palms behind your head. So the fingertips to the back of the occipital lobe. We're going to do some lower lifts with the chest. So take a nice big inhale, technically called a chest lift. And as you exhale, I want you to feel like there's a wire coming straight from your chest to the ceiling as you lift up the chest off the mat, and then we lower back down as you inhale. Good job. We got 2 more. We're lifting up the head and the chest. Perfect. Lowering back down as you inhale. As you exhale, lifting the head and the chest up, and then lowering back down. Good job. Perfect. How's your back feeling? Yeah, held it up?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Arms are down by your side, palms pressing into the mat, or again, pinkies on the mat, thumbs up to the ceiling for a neutral shoulder. We're gonna go ahead and bring one leg at a time into tabletop. So you wanna have your core engaged, pelvis in neutral, and control the movement from that section. Beautiful. Calves are nice and parallel to the floor, knees are stacked over your hips, and you want your feet planar flex. So go ahead and point those toes. What we're gonna do from here, we're gonna have two different variations. First, we're going to do the lower and lift. So let's go ahead and extend the legs out straight to the 45. You're gonna try to keep the pelvis in neutral, core is engaged. You can control the movement from your center line. You're gonna flex at the hips to bring the legs up, but make sure the pelvis is staying in neutral. Lower down, how far down? Until you feel the pelvis starts to come out of neutral, pause and stop. Flex the hip, come back up, lower, back down. One more time, we're gonna flex back up, flex the hip to bring the feet back up to the 90, and then extend the hip as the legs come back down. You can go ahead and bend one knee at a time, putting your feet back on the mat. Good job. We're gonna extend the legs out straight. On the mat. Oh, so your heels are on the mat. We're gonna do what's called circles. So either leg, we're gonna go ahead and bring one leg into tabletop, so make sure the core is engaged. You wanna control the movement from the core. Pelvis is in neutral. You've got your knee stacked up again on top of your hip perfectly. All you're gonna do, you're gonna keep this line perfectly still, and all you're gonna do is extend from the knee. So you're gonna lift the heel up to bring that foot to the 90. You're gonna be plantar flex, so toe pointed up to the ceiling. You're gonna trace little tiny circles the size of an orange or a grapefruit with that toe on the ceiling, really waking up from that hip joint. Pause, and then you're gonna go in the other direction. Beautiful. You can go ahead and pause there. Go ahead and flex from the knee, and then extend from the hip to bring the leg back down to the mat. Great job. So what we're gonna do next is the first move in classical Pilates. And it is not called the 100, it's called 100. So even though it doesn't feel like proper English, we're gonna do 100. Always sounds fun. So you're gonna begin with the knees flexed, feet on the mat. That is perfect. With the arms, you're gonna lift the arms up over the ceiling just to get into position. Engage the core, pelvis stays in neutral. We're gonna bring one leg at a time up into tabletop. So variations on the 100, you can keep your legs in tabletop, you can extend them out to the 45. As we breathe in and out, you can extend out to the 45 into tabletop. And for beginners, you can certainly have your feet on the mat, but you're not a beginner, so we're not gonna do that. So we're gonna keep our knees in tabletop, and we're only gonna do 3 in and outs of the 100 because it's been a long day. We're gonna begin by lowering the hands. Palms are facing the mat by your hip distance. If you can, and if you want, you can go ahead and lift up the chest. From here, we're gonna hold this position, keep that core engaged, and we're gonna flutter those arms, pulsing them up and down as we breathe in and out. For inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. One more, inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. You can go ahead and lower the head and the chest, and then bring one knee down at a time. Feet are on the floor. Good job. That was the best 100 you've ever done, right?
Yes.
So from there, we are done with laying supine on the mat. So we're gonna sit on up. We're gonna do some lateral flexion. So we're gonna do our mermaids.
Okay.
So we're gonna come into a Z-sit, whichever side that you feel like you wanna stretch out today. So the Z-sit has both hips flexed, both knees flexed. Front knee is in front with the front foot, and then the knee to the outside. So we start sitting up nice and straight. So one of the things that a lot of people miss about the mermaid is that you want to try to keep both hips exactly where they are when you start. So if I were to come behind you, I'm not going to do it the whole time, but if I were to come here and just put pressure down on this side, that's what you want to envision happening. So that when you do your lateral rotation, this hip doesn't come up. That's where you're going to feel the most of the extension in those obliques. So we start with both arms down by our sides. So we're gonna start by bending over the bent front knee first. So outside arm comes up, palm is facing the ceiling. And then we're gonna raise the arm as we exhale and we bend into our side bend using those obliques. We're gonna control the movement from the oblique to come back up, and we're gonna switch sides. This arm comes down, outside arm comes up, we bend into the other side. Good job. Coming back to neutral, repositioning yourself, arms come down. We're gonna do it 2 more times. Outside arm is up, palm facing the ceiling. It lifts up and over, assisting us getting into lateral rotation as we exhale. Perfect, you feel the stretch right in here. Beautiful. You're gonna come back up using those obliques. Outside arm comes down, inside arm reaches up towards the ceiling to do a reverse. Then we're gonna come back to neutral, both arms lower, quick little break. 1 more time, outside arm reaches out, up and over to assist to get us into that oblique stretch, the lateral flexion. Coming back up to neutral, our arms essentially switch positions, inside arm comes up, and we bend towards the outside. Coming back up to neutral, both arms come down into our nice little mermaid. From there, we're gonna go into our side lying series. So you're gonna lay down on your left side, since you're there. So now if you want, I can give you a ball to put underneath your head. I can give you a block to put underneath your head. You can just have your hand underneath your head.
Use my hand.
Okay, use your hand. These balls are a little bit
Those were the thick ones.
big, so I feel like we got some nut kinks into it. So we're gonna do our side lying series. So the important part about the side lying is that you wanna have the hips stacked right on top of each other towards the ceiling, just like you do. Shoulders are stable, stacked on top of each other. You can have this right arm right where it is, or you can put it down. What happens when you put it down is that it stops you from rotating out as easily because you have something leaning forward. So we're gonna start with something called the clam. So we're gonna flex at the knees and the hips, drawing the heels in, so the heels are nice and lined up with the hip joint. That's perfect. The goal of this is you're gonna try to keep the heels together, and you're going to adduct, you're going to lift the top knee towards the ceiling, and then you're gonna lower it back down, nice and in control. You're gonna adduct and bring it up towards the ceiling, trying not to push this hip back, lowering down nice and in control. 1 more. There you go. Lowering back down. Variations on the clam, we can always lift the heels off the mat for a little bit more resistance, or the heels and toes off the mat, and that adds another level of balance and challenge to legs. So now we are going to do lower and lift, so we're going to extend the legs out towards the push through bar. Your feet are going to be dorsiflex, so you're going to be pushing through the heels of the feet. Legs are nice and long, one pretty little line. Left and right hip are stacked on top of each other. Core is engaged. Pull this elbow back just a notch. There you go. Core is nice and engaged. And all we're simply going to do is your right leg, we're going to adduct it, bring it up to hip level, then lower it back down. Lift it up, lowering it back down, trying to keep the toes pointed towards this wall, just like you're doing. 1 more. Up and lowering back down. Good job. Nice side lying series. We are cruising. Hopefully I didn't forget too many things. So now we're going to go prone. So that means that you're going to be on your belly. So we're going to do 2 things in prone, something called a swan and something called rocking.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll put my head here this
Okay.
time. And I will put my hair up so something can
You
move
do
my
it.
face during it. Okay.
So we're going to be lying down prone. So legs are extended nice and straight. They are abducted hip distance apart, pushing equally through the tops of the feet. Some people say shoelaces. So shoelaces on the mat, pushing through your shoelaces. You want to feel pressure in your hip joints. You want that core engaged. Your elbows are going to be bent. They're pretty much starting by your side. Fingertips are up at your nose level. Perfect. You're going to take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to start by pushing through your arms, lifting the head and the chest. And then as you extend the elbows as high as you can, you're going to start to lift the abdominals off the mat, lifting up into the ACES. And then you're going to lower back down the way you came up, lowering down, bending the elbows, head comes back down to the mat. Take a quick break, then re-engage the abs. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, push away. lifting up, extending the arms. Then flex the elbows as you come back down. Head comes back to the mat. We have one more here. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, push through the arms to lift the head and the chest, extending the elbows, lifting through that thoracic spine, feeling the extension, and then lowering back down, flexing the elbows, head comes back down to the mat. Woo, good job. Last little one here with your hamstrings. I'm sure this one's going to be a challenge.
It's gonna be a fun one.
So you're going to flex your knees to bend the knees, and then you're going to reach back with one hand at a time to grab onto the feet on the outside, just like that. Other one. There you go. So head is on the mat or chin's on the mat, whatever's comfortable at this point. So what the rocking is, we're not actually going to rock, but it's called rocking because you're lifting the knees and the shoulders up. So when you're ready, take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, push through the feet so that you lift the chest and the knees up off the mat. That's perfect. Lowering back down. We have two more. Take a nice big inhale. Use the breath as you exhale. Push through the feet to lift up into the rocking position. And then lowering back down. And we have one more here. Take a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, push through the feet, coming into the rocking position and lowering back down. Woo!
Yes!
We have a light. She's doing amazing. All righty, we'll be right back with the next setup.
You used another anatomy word during the video.